Just a little bit about the legacy assets that we have. It's a fleet that was built largely between the 1960s and the 1990s. We do have 2 coal stations that are at various stages of commissioning, but the bulk of the fleet really, it belongs to that era. Over the period, we've focused on life extension. So the assets have been given a few more years to go incrementally. But what is true is that in the next maybe 5 years or so, the majority of these will have to be decommissioned. So we have that challenge of a growing economy. We have the challenge of having to decarbonize. And we also are aware that assets are nearing the end of their useful lives. In this context, government has adopted a just energy transition as the framework in which we make this journey. I have to say that this is contested territory, even within the policymakers themselves.
On a more industrial asset scale, you have to think, for example, of a refinery or a chemical complex. The repurposing of assets is slightly different. Take, for example, the Pernis refinery, also based in the Rotterdam harbor. The refinery has a plan to convert itself into an energies and chemicals park and a North Star project that describes the pathway to convert from an oil-based refinery into this chemical and energy park that will have net zero emissions by 2050 or earlier. So to an extent, some of the assets are physically repurposed, but also you use the complex to add new additions. For example, they're building currently a big biofuels plant that will generate sustainable aviation fuel, amongst others. So it's a good example how a refinery is not a static facility, but something that is in flux and will transition as well.
These other type of industries in chemicals or building materials like steel, there's an enormous challenge there as well. And looking at our legacy assets of steel making in the global north, I think it's very problematic. I think here, the global south, China, but also India, they can build steel mills according to newest technology and standards. But again, it comes at an enormous cost. But the advantage of these kind of products is that they continue to be part of the system. Once you have mined them, put them to use in construction, you can recycle them. But the investments are gigantic to, let's say, make a full decarbonized green iron ore that you can put into steel mills.
What's important is to think about this from a value chain point of view. That's important. Because if the current suppliers would not be ready for low carbon technologies, so you're also going to have a shift, and which is what we're trying to avoid, people moving to areas where there would be new economic opportunities or investments. So I think we are leaving behind those that are feeding the sector that is constantly declining over time. And I think there's a need to ensure that they adapt to the new sectors and technologies that would be adopted moving forward.